A very good morning to our honorable guest, respected faculty members, and all the students. Thank you for joining this session. On behalf of Jaipuria Institute of Management, Ghaziabad, I, A. Priyanka, MBA student batch 2019-2021, welcome you all. Jaipuria Institute of Management, Indrapuram, Ghaziabad is the best MBA college in Ghaziabad set up by Seth Anandram Jaipuria Education Society in 2001. During this short span of 20 years, under the able guidance of the chairman, Shri Shishir Jaipuria, GIM is being acclaimed as a leading business school in Delhi, northern India. It is indeed a very pleasant morning because we have been endowed with an opportunity to hear from Professor Dr. Shalini Verma. She is associated with different organizations on different positions. She is the founder of Samvad Shala, mentor at Books 33, associate professor of communications at a reputed business school based in Delhi NCR. On behalf of Jaipuria Institute of Management, Indrapuram, Ghaziabad, I welcome you, ma'am. Professor Dr. Shalini Verma hails from the land of Satyagraha. Satyagraha, a Sanskrit word which means insistence of truth. She is among the fortunate few who has been blessed with adversity, an opportunity that boosted her emotional quotient, creativity quotient, and above all, adversity quotient that led her to self-exploration, self-education, and self-realization. Her keen observation on body language, backed with extensive research in the areas of subconscious mind reading and paralanguage, enabled her to write her first book in 2005, Body Language, Your Success Mantra. It also happened to be the first book to be written from Indian perspective on the subject by an Indian author. Her sheer passion for communication laid the foundation of Samvad Shala, a communication platform for all those who want to transform from shy communicator to ace communicator from novice to niche. I would also like to welcome Ms. Chanandi Sachdeva, Assistant Professor of Jaipuria Institute of Management. Thank you for joining this session, ma'am. Now I
Priyanka, thank you so much.
Now, I would request Professor Dr. Shalini Verma to enlighten us on the topic effective communication skills, ma'am. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. And a very happy Navratra to you all. Namaskar. Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you, Professor Chopra, for giving me this opportunity to share my experience with you all. You rightly said that I hail from a land of Satyagraha. So, insistence of truth is something that is the core that I very, very strongly believe in. Now, coming to communication, my passion for communication and communication not only through words, but also through your very presence is something that led me to write my first book, which took me 14 years to get published. So, when I say that I conceptualized the idea of writing a book on the non word communication, which means body language, and that came because I had several rejections in my greener age, in my greener days when I was struggling, like you all. As a young student, after doing my graduation, I was thinking of standing on my own feet back in 90s. I had faced several rejections, and those rejections I didn't understand because their words would say something. The interviewer's word would say something, and their eyes and facial expression and their gestures would say something very different. So I would go with full enthusiasm, and I would come with full enthusiasm, waiting to be hired. But then something or the other would happen, and there was a mismatch between what they said and what their body said. So I was kind of puzzled why it is happening to me. And like anyone else, a lot of negativity would air me up, and I would think that I am no good. And, rejection after rejection after rejection, you feel that there is something wrong with you. And then later I realized that it is not anything wrong with me, but way I am projecting myself. I am so over prepared that I look nervous. So the nervousness comes by two reasons. Either you are not prepared, which none of us are. We all give our 100% to our recruitment and hiring and examination, whatever evaluation, whatever be the evaluation, but we give the 100% to it. What happens when we give 110%? Then somewhere or the other, what happens? We want to give more information in lesser time. And in that process, we forget something, we strain ourselves, we stress ourselves, and we look nervous. So the person who is interpreting us feels that we are not prepared. So there is a difference between over preparation and under preparation. Under preparation, none of us deliberately goes under prepared. Over preparation, most of us. That had happened with me. And that was a mismatch. Getting rejected after rejection after rejection. I thought, let me do something. Because, you know, when you are rejected, there is a kind of feeling that seeps in that you are no good. I thought, no, let me put in my energy into something else. I started writing. And I had this idea, this feeling of writing my emotions, my feelings every day. So I would write something and I would feel, I never thought, not even in my wildest dream, I thought that I would be an author someday, because I don't come from the author's background. Because the lawyer's background, they come, they end up into good lawyers. Doctors' family, they end up into good doctor. So this is what is the family heritage that we still have in India. I come from a background where there was no academic person. It was a very, lower middle class family, service class people. You go earn your living and then you are happy with your family. A very, different kind of background. So, and a place where I come from, girls are not given more education. So it is like you are educated only to get married. And the parents are very, very particular that, okay, you just make sure, because there is a lot of dowry system out there. And back in my days, now it has changed. So if you educate your girl child much, the dowry would go higher. So that was also one of the stigma in the society that I come from. Well, rejection led me to write. I kept on writing, and writing. And then I thought, okay, let me try to share my ideas. When I shared my ideas with my friends and my family members, they said that whatever you are saying, it's very much relevant. Why don't you go and get it published? Now, publishing again is a very far-fetched dream for a girl from a far off place, remote place. So, well, I didn't take it seriously. In the meantime, I got job in Nepal, and I joined my first job in Nepal as a assistant professor. What you call assistant professor, there they call lecturer. So that gave me little confidence. 10 years I spent there, kept on writing, did my PhD, everything. Now, things will change. Why I say that adversity quotient is very important in these days, because you all talk about emotional quotient, everyone talks about intelligence quotient. No one talks about the creativity quotient and the adversity quotient. You see, opportunity and adversity, they are the two sides of coin. So as a manager, when you would be going to your workplace, you would be faced not only with the opportunities, but also with the adversity. And the most interesting part is that the adversity comes in the face of opportunity and vice versa. You never know. It may seem to you that it is an opportunity, but it is an adversity. It may seem as an adversity, but it may end up as an opportunity. You see, 2020, we all had great plans because it was a very special year, leap year, and so many good things we had planned for ourselves. So a lot of opportunities, a lot of business happening, a lot of boost, everything was going to happen. Things was all green everywhere. Come March, and then we are faced with a very, very bleak reality. Now, at that point in time, in March, we felt, we managers, we leaders, everyone, be it professional or in our personal life, we felt that COVID is the biggest setback that can happen to the humanity, because all of a sudden we all were asked to get inside the room. We were not allowed to go outside the four walls of our house. But you see, come November, and how much we have skilled ourselves. So what appeared to be adversity in the beginning has made us a very skilled person. It has upskilled. I never thought that Shalini Verma would be taking a class in this platform. And I think I am trying to do my best to this platform. I never knew that my drawing room would become my workplace. And my workplace would I don't know what is happening to my workplace. So what has happened? We have become more professional. So any adversity that comes, don't take it as an adversity. It is an opportunity. You see, I have learned so many skills. I mean, talking with you in this technological platform, I never thought. Now, converting my drawing room into a workplace, I never thought. Now, connecting with people, talking face to face with the facial expression, with a smile on my face, with a namaskar that I am able to do virtually, I never knew that all these things may happen. For me, what was there, that if I am writing, I am writing. If I am teaching, I have to be physically present in front of my students. So what has come as an adversity has resulted as an opportunity. We have kind of leapfrogged our growth into this new skill. Many of us have got into writing poetry, writing short stories. I know that Professor Chopra is also very keen in writing, and I am sure that she might have used this time, lockdown time, into writing something and to unleash her creativity. And most of us, the students also, oh my God, they are posting so very beautiful paintings. Some have taken into yoga, some of them have taken into writing, some of them have taken into dancing and whatnot. So the creativity quotient, which was always taken a back seat in the pre-COVID era, it was only studies and marks and studies and marks. So that we were governed by the M's, marks, money, and the muscle power. Marks, money, student life, it's all about marks, marks and marks. Professional life is all about money, money and money. And when you get into some power, it's the muscle power that you use. When I say muscle, muscle is metaphorical muscle. So the power that you get when you reach to the higher hierarchy, so your entire life is spent into M, M, and M, 3 M's. What this time has taught us is marks not important, money not important. You had crores and crores in your bank account. You have a Maruti car and you have a BMW and you have a cycle, but still a bicycle will not take you to the road. Your BMW is no good at all. And if you were to go out on the roads, it was just your 2 feet, right? So what will you do with money? And we have ample stories about people getting high scores and leading and getting into some job, menial job. What will you do with your marks? And the people who have been mediocre, who have not run after the marks, they are leading the companies. You see the dropouts, the number of dropouts, college dropouts who have started a business, and they are hiring people who were good at marks. So what has happened? This COVID has taught us many things. They had made us more humane. Now we realize what is the worth. As a manager, you need to understand that what is the worth. What I'm talking of is the effective communication that you do to yourself. Once you do it to yourself, which is intrapersonal communication, then you make it to our outsider world, which is interpersonal communication. Whatever I have been speaking, It's all about intrapersonal, my struggles, my fighting back, my COVID period, my getting published. All these are my inner thing that I am doing. I'm not, the world sees me as a quiet person because I have always been a self-talker. As you rightly said, I have been a self-talker. But in no point in time, no matter how many rejections I got, no point in time I talked ill to myself. I loved myself. I had the self-talk that would pamper me. Because when the world is not pampering me, when the world is treating me badly, why should I treat myself badly? So self-talk is very important. Your self-image is very important. Need to fall in love with yourself. Because when you love yourself, that love will be reflected in your persona. That love and affection and empathy and compassion would come out through your communication. Have you seen anyone who is always cursing himself? You are no good, you are no good. And all of a sudden he goes to the workplace and says, oh, wow, the world is beautiful. No, he can't do that. He will find out fault with every little thing. If the birds are chirping, that melody would sound as a noise to that person because he doesn't love himself. Self-love is very important. Unless you communicate effectively to yourself, you cannot effectively communicate to the outer world, be it your workplace as a manager or a workplace as a doctor or workplace as a lawyer or any profession under the sun. Your profession will only see what is the person inside you, this body. The body that you have, there is a person inside. And that person, if he's lovable, he's compassionate, he's empathetic, that will come out. Don't work on the cosmetic change of your communication. Start with your self-love. If you love yourself, that will be reflected. If you are very, very caring to yourself, you take care of your body, you take care of your health, you take care of your diet, all these things. I have to pause for a minute. There is some sound outside. I am pausing for a minute. There was some announcement made, some COVID related announcements, some जुर्माना वगैरह मेरे पास से इधर से जा रहे थे on that society में कुछ announcement हो रहे थे. So I thought, let me stop. Sorry for this inconvenience. So what I was saying is effective communication. When you are talking, it is effectiveness that you do to your communication to yourself. Start with your intrapersonal, then move on to your interpersonal. Intrapersonal is the basis that will strengthen you from inside. In whichever profession you are, just make sure that you are effective in communication. Don't clutter your mind with lot many things. Just think, I was a struggler. I know that I am not getting job, but then I will not keep that negativity seeping in inside me. Let me write something. And writing is very therapeutic. Listening to music, all these are forms of communication that will soothe your brain. You know, when your right brain and left brain is in sync, then the miracles would happen. What happens is, our education system and our society norms had made us more skewed towards our left brain, which is number, words, logic, rationality. And in this, straining our left brain has made our right brain totally unused. No creativity, no music. So it is all bakwas ki baat. So unless that जरूरत की बात and बकवास की बात का मैचिंग होगा, बैलेंस होगी, तभी आप एक complete person बनोगे. If our right brain was that unuseful, that futile, why would we have it? Imagination rules the world. First you imagine, then it becomes the reality. when the White brothers thought that they would fly, it was just a wild imagination. When Graham Bell thought that let me talk, staying far off, people might have thought that this guy has gone crazy, right? So imagination comes first. And where does the imagination comes from? The imagination comes from your right side of your brain. And then you start thinking. You give fuel of that imagination from your right brain, and then your left brain starts thinking, applying logics, theories. And then you start thinking, okay, well, how to make it happen? That dream, that imagination, that creativity, that has to be nourished, right? And then only your execution part, your left part is the execution part that would come into play, right? So starting with interpersonal, move on to intrapersonal, move on to interpersonal. When you're talking to the world, what are you communicating? Are you communicating hope, or you are communicating aggression, negativity that is seen through your face? The very easy thing that you could do while at work is just bring one smile on your face. If not smile, at least don't bring the frown on your face. This frown, as if the whole burden of the world is on your shoulders. No, it is not. You are here, the world is going on, you are not there, world will go on. I am here speaking to you. Tomorrow I am not there, someone else will be speaking to you. That someone else will go, someone else will come. So the world will go on. So why to worry about it? When you talk, there are two ways you communicate with the external world. One is by your persona, your non-words, and the other is your words. Now, keeping a balance between the non-words and the words is very important. Your non-words are your non-verbals, and your words are your verbals. When you are talking of the verbals, you are talking of four things: your language competency, your vocabulary, your general awareness, and your domain knowledge. Your professor has invited me, Jaipuria has invited me to come and speak not on any mathematical subject or accounting subject. Why did they call me for effective communication? Because that is my domain. That is my identity. That is what I am known for. I have chosen to speak to you in English because I know that the communication that I am doing with my audience, with my listeners, with my viewers, they all are comfortable with this language. Otherwise, I would have spoken in Hindi. If I would have known any other language, I would have spoken in that. Had this platform been in Italy, where I have taught in Ancona University, I would have made sure that I have a very good interpreter who is interpreting my English into Italian, and then the communication is passing by. So that is something very important, to make sure that when you are communicating, whether your audience and you are on the same page. That is about words. So when you are talking of the word communication, four things, rather five things. Your language competency, whichever language your audience is comfortable, choose that language. If you cannot choose that language, just make sure that there is an interface in between. A person who can translate it correctly. And we all know that translation can be effective and translation can be disaster. One small story, I would digress a bit and I will tell you. When Second World War happened, there was, the world was divided into two lobbies, right? Now, when America asked Japan that you give up, stop fighting, okay, they had sent a very detailed note that you have to give in. Now, what you are doing is not right. Japan said, Moku Sotsu. Moku Sotsu, the Japanese word. And it was in the media, and media people of the Japanese side and the American side. They all had taken it. Now, the Japanese media understood what was meant by mokusotsu in the given context. The American people didn't understand the context of mokusotsu, and they heavily relied on the interpreter. Now, mokusotsu has got two meanings. One is, give us some time, we are thinking. Time, please. And the other meaning is, we just don't bother. So you see what happened. And 2 days later, Hiroshima and Nagasaki happened. Who was responsible? Was not the communication responsible? Was not the context responsible? Just two words, mokusotsu. And the disaster we still see, and we feel the pain, the humanity, the kind of price that the humanity paid for that misinterpretation. It's very easy for us to say, "Arey, miscommunication ho gaya tha, communication gap ho gayi thi." This is the most abused word in the workplace today. Anything that happens, just say miscommunication, slip of tongue, communication gap. Why it should happen? It should not happen when the two parts, the sender and the receiver, they are on the same page. It should not happen. And if it is happening, it is the responsibility, it is a shared responsibility of both the sender and the receiver to make sure that the words that you have used, the language that you have used, is interpreted in the same context. Mokusotsu, the Japanese had interpreted it correctly in the given context, because they are asking for time to deliberate, because they want to give a very serious thought to it. And it was interpreted word to word, like, we don't bother. Silence, please. Keep shut up. Right? So you see what happens. So in verbal communication, your language, your vocabulary. Now, I don't say that the American media has only, it was the responsibility of the American media to interpret it correctly. Now, if I am using any word, mokusotsu, I used it, I know that my audience don't know what is the meaning of it. Even I didn't know the meaning of it. So it's my responsibility to make it clear. If you're writing in the bracket, in the parenthesis, you write down the meaning of it. When you are using the acronym of anything, you expand it, and in the bracket you write down the expanded form of it. So it is the responsibility of the sender as well as for the receiver to understand, to make clear that both the parties are on the same page. So this was about the language competency and the vocabulary. Now, general awareness is something that will keep you abreast, that will keep you talk sense, that will keep you look fashionable in terms of speaking. Fashion is not only the exterior part of it. Fashion is also the interior part of you. So what you are speaking has to be relevant. When we are talking today, we are having this session. It is very pertinent for me to speak about the communication challenges that we are facing in the COVID times. Now, if I don't speak about the COVID times, somewhere or the other, I am not aware what is actually happening, because the challenge is changing every time. We all know that we are in the VUCA world, which is volatile, which is uncertain, which is always changing. And if you are not aware of it, then you would not be making sense. As a manager, what you are expected is keeping abreast. See, one of my professors, one of my colleagues rather, when I was teaching in Ohio University, one of my colleagues, Professor Ken Cutright, would say that when we are speaking, when we are speaking, just make sure that the managers know something about everything, not everything about something. And I was kind of, it sounded to me like a pun at that time. What this old guy is saying. Actually, he was making sense. Manager is the one who manages. He doesn't generate the information, right? He curates the information. When you will go at your workplace, your organization will not ask you to generate information. What they will ask you is curate information about a product, curate information about the market, curate information about the customer's response. So what you are doing, you are curating, you are taking bits and pieces from different places and joining the pieces and then presenting it in the platter. So it's important that you know a little bit of law, you know a little bit of marketing, you know a little bit of numbers, you know a little bit of economics, you know a little bit of history, you know a little bit of geography. Then only you will be able to do justice to what you are asked to do. So a manager is not someone who is an expert of one thing. You cannot say that I'm a marketing person, I don't know about finances. I'm an HR person, what happens in marketing, I don't know. The very core of human beings is that we all market ourselves, we all sell ourselves, we sell our skills, we sell our personality, we sell our credibility, right? So when Professor Ken Cartwright said that a manager is not one who knows everything about something, which is the expert's work, which is the doctor's work. He knows everything about. Even the doctors don't know everything about everything. There are so many specialized fields. But if he is a cardiologist, he knows everything about cardiology. If he is a pediatrician, he knows everything about the disease that the children could have. So just see that you are aware. You are aware of what is happening. What is happening in Brazil today? What is happening in Japan today? What has happened to the economy of Italy now, post-COVID? What has happened to Spain? How US is coping? How India is coping? Then only you can say, well, these are the countries, these are facing this problem, and India is facing different kind of problem. Then you can make it more relevant. You can give it more, you can add context to it. So this is a juggler's job. What you have chosen for yourself is the job of a juggler. So you are always juggling with many things. So if you are not a multitasker, M for manager, M for multitasker. If you are not a multitasker, this is the time you take a decision. You look into, introspect, look into your choice, and time is never, it's never late to mend your mistakes. If you see that, no, I am a very focused person, I want to do only one thing, better change your idea, get into academics or any other field, right? And we are in such a good time that there is a scope for everything. You don't like studies, you like gaming, and gaming industry is booming like anything, right? You are a person who's into sports, and you see so much of thrust is being given by our government in the sports area. You go into it. So tell me one field which doesn't have the scope in the present 21st century. Everything has a scope. You like acting? Please go. Entertainment industry is looking for you. You are into stand-up comedy? Please go. People are making money like anything. Be an Instagrammer, become an influencer there. You don't have to go anywhere, and you would be making money. You have a very good voice. Get into voiceover artist. Become voiceover artist. You don't have to go anywhere. You will save time into commuting. Projects would be coming to you. Just make your sample work and make it available on the media, and just say in your social media that I am available for this. And they see people would be coming in. They are looking for right people. So nothing is waste, right? Now, most important thing here is, after your language, your vocabulary, your general awareness, and your domain knowledge, one area should be your identity. HR identity, marketing identity, law identity, communication identity, right? One identity, at least people should be knowing me, Dr. Shalini Verma, as something that she knows little more than the other things. And that something is communication. You have to peep into yourself and see what is that you have in you. That is your USP. You have to be known for your USP, right? And the last and the most important thing in verbal communication is your listening. How much you listen. Most of the time we are listening not to listen, but to respond. And the worst is we are not listening to respond, we are listening to react. There's a difference between reaction and response. When you react, you are impulsive. When you respond, it's a cognitive process that has gone into it. It is a well thought reply is called responding. And reckless reply is called reacting. Your mother says that you have to have this glass of milk. And then you say, nahi lena abhi. What was that? It was a reaction. You didn't like that glass of milk. And respond would be, mummy bhi thoda busy hai, thoda sa der ke baad lenge. Ya mujhe ye pasand nahi, isme thoda sa flavor dal dijiye. This is responding. Responding doesn't need to be always yes. You can say no also with a proper empathy and compassion into it. So don't react, respond. And how would you react or respond? When you are listening it properly, right? So this was about the 5 pillars that you should have for your word communication. Now coming to the non-word. Simply by your presence, the first 7 seconds, the hirer, the recruiter would decide whether they are going to take Priyanka or maybe Sonam. They will decide on that. Why? They both are educated same. They both have got the same CGPA. They both are educated from Jaipuria in the Indrapuram. They both are very good in the co-curricular activities. They both have dressed themselves in a very formal manner. But that first 7 seconds, Sonam has done something that Priyanka has missed out this time. That is called first impression. And the first impression is very, very subjective. It's very difficult. And when we find things difficult, the humankind, when we find things difficult, we'll say हमारा किस्मत ही खराब है. जो हम decode नहीं कर पाते ना, उसको हम बोल देते हैं destiny में नहीं था, भाग्य में नहीं था, क्या करें? Because जहां भी हमें, whenever our left brain stops answering to our queries, instead of relying on our right brain, we put it into superstitions. We put it into something that is we are taking a kind of अपने आप से झूठ बोल रहे, excuse कर रहे हैं, क्या करें यार मेरा लक खराब था. अरे थोड़ा सा right brain को use करो, देखो पता करो कि क्या उसने किया तुमने नहीं किया, and you will get the reply of it, right? So the first impression, 7 seconds, क्या ऐसा करोगे? You have a very good long hair. अभी आपने rebounding और पता नहीं क्या क्या आजकल होता है वो आपने कराए हैं, बहुत अच्छा fashion. I appreciate. I am a fashionable guy. I love fashion. Fashion is you. Fashion is how you are treating your body, your exterior. What suits me, right? It's very good thing. But it has to be according to the context, right? I have a very good long hair and I want to flaunt it. Evening time with my friends, in a coffee house, it's fine. But when I'm going in an interview room, if I tie it up and put a long, a top knot, there are so many styles. I learn styles from you guys, right? Style is you. Your style quotient has to be, because that defines you. There is no other Shalini Verma than me in this entire planet. So this Shalini Verma has to look very different from the other Shalini Vermas. There may be many, many of them, but this is different. This has to look different. This will not be a copycat of any other Shalini Verma, right? So Style is good. Style is something that you have to develop, that accentuates your personality. Now, leaving your hair open is good at one point, but leaving the same hair loose in the interview room will distract your interviewer. Now, this is Navratra time going on, and I am on total complete fast. For 9 days, I will be only on fruits and milk. No cereals, no namak, nothing doing. This is full falahar, right? And I'm full of energy. And I love dressing myself up. I love bangles. I dress myself in the ethnic. You can see tika here, all these tikas. Okay, because just now I was doing my part. So you see, I love bangles, but the moment I was coming and switching on this screen, I put off all my bangles. I had just one here and this one there. All my bangles and my ethnic, they all are lying here on my table. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? All the bangles, all the ornaments that I was wearing during my puja, it is all lying on my table. Why did I do that? Because first 7 seconds when you saw me, you would judge me. Arey, ye sone ki dukaan kahan se aa gayi? This would have happened, the first thing that in your mind. और जब उसके बाद मुझे आपने सोने के दुकान के साथ मैच कर लिया, उसके बाद मैं चाहे जितना भी I talk sense, you will not listen. Because the first 7 seconds has tagged me as a सोने की दुकान. ये मैडम क्या करेगी, ये क्या बोलेगी? So that first 7 seconds you have to make sure. How do you do that? People ask me, ma'am, in the COVID era, we have become untouchables. Very right. Touching is a very touchy affair now. किसी को टच करो वो ऑफेंड हो जाएगा. पहले किसी को टच नहीं करने पे वो ऑफेंड हो जाता था. The very शुद्ध शाकाहारी Indian thing that we have got is Namaskar. So it looks so good. It has gone to the UN now. People ask me that online classes में how to show our greeting gesture. ऐसे करें good morning, bow करें, कैसे करें? कुछ नहीं करो, because आपका सिर्फ ये portion दिख रहा है ना. What portion is visible? Your head, it has to be held high, your chin up. Your this should not droop down. Just sit like this, and your chest position. What you can do, you can simply do Namaskar. And it is a gesture. Why shy away? Why good morning, good afternoon, which doesn't have any gesture? Why not Namaste? Why not Namaskar? So 7 seconds में अगर आप online भी interview दे रहे हैं, you can make your presence felt. You can sell your USP. First 7 seconds is very, very important. Now, when we are talking of the online thing, your head, it is your status. How well positioned your head is, no matter what age you are, no matter you have spondylitis, no matter you have back pain, slip disc maybe, just make sure that you are comfortable, your spine is straight. And when you look in the world straight into the eyes, the world will not look down on you. Look into the world straight, and there is no reason people would look down on you. You are asking for a job. You are not begging. You are offering something. Just have that self-respect for yourself. When you beg for it, you will not get it. When you show your worth, people will be after you. So your eyes, your face, your head, your chin is straight. This, you're talking. Why you would talk like this? Chin straight, it's a phrase. Chin straight means your head is high, right? So these are few things: your hair, your ambience, your background, the color that you are wearing. All these things come into the non-verbal part of it. वैसे तो नॉन वर्बल में देर आर नॉन वर्ड और नॉन वर्बल, देर आर 8 of them. But in the COVID era, what is important is your oculesics, your eye contact. When you're talking to your screen, now this screen is a devta for me, is my God. So have you seen going to temple and not looking at the God? How many of us go to temple and not look at the God? The camera that you have on your laptop is your God. उसका ईश्वर का तीसरा आंख मान लो उसको. Look there and speak. You see how it will move on to the viewers. And when you are not looking in the camera, when you are not looking at your God, metaphorical God I am saying, but give it as much importance as you would give to your God, whoever you worship. मंदिर में आप जाते होगे, देखते होगे कि लोग मंदिर से निकलते भी हैं तो सीधा होके निकलते हैं, पीठ नहीं करते हैं भगवान की तरफ. So when you are giving your audience, your viewers, full respect, there is no reason that your audience or your viewers will not reciprocate to you. लेना नहीं लेना ये उनकी मजबूरी हो सकती है. Hire करना नहीं करना उनकी मजबूरी हो सकती है. They have just 3 positions and there are 30 candidates. So 17 of them will have to be said sorry for this time. But that doesn't mean कि वो 17 लोगों में प्रॉब्लम थी. बस 3 लोग ऐसे थे जिनका की मैपिंग बहुत बढ़िया से हो गया. Right? So your oculesics, eye contact. Don't look your audience. जिससे भी आप बात करें, ऑडियंस से हो या आप आपके वर्क प्लेस में हो, डोंट लुक एट दिस पोजिशन. नाक से नीचे किसी की भी ये उसका मोस्टाच कितना मोटा है मत देखो. अगर फॉर्मल कम्युनिकेशन कर रहे हो उसको क्या देखना है, आईज एंड द फॉरहेड. देखो कि वो टीका कितना बड़ा लगाया है, इट्स परफेक्टली फाइन. ये नहीं देखो कि उसकी मोस्टाच कितनी बड़ी है या फिर उसने लिपस्टिक कौन सी लगाई है, नहीं देखना है आपको. Because that is not formal. Don't look at the tie का knot कितना बड़ा है या मैम ने कौन सी beads पहनी है, आपको इधर देखना ही नहीं है. You look only eyes and the एक triangle बना लो, imaginary triangle between the eyes and the forehead, and you are formal. Don't look here and there.
It's very rightly mentioned in your book also.
Yes.
Formal, informal, and personal gaze. Our students use it.
Okay.
So under oculesics, it has been rightly mentioned that make up an imaginary triangle here, then here, and then here. So
Yes.
we teach students oculesics using this formal, informal, and personal gaze.
Exactly. And you see, I mean, कभी try करना हो तो एक ऐसा बनाओ, एक छोटा सा cohort group, and you try it. अपने juniors के साथ करके देखो कैसे उनका perception आपके प्रति change हो जाएगा. You look at their eyes and the forehead, they will give you due regard. You look here, and then they will take you casually. सिर्फ आंखों से you can command the relationship. Hypnotics क्या है? Hypnosis क्या है? Hypnosis is nothing else but the eye movement and the power that you have in your eyes. And it is all these people who practice hypnosis, they practice their eyes, they train their eyes. Oculesics में trained होते हैं. Right? So oculesics, most important part, most expressive thing that you have on your face is your eyes. Next is your smile. You know how you move your muscles. Smile करने में भी एक होता है, smile करते हो तो अगले को खुशी होती है, अगला reciprocate करता है. दूसरा smile देख करके अगला withdraw कर जाता है. That is not smile, that is smirk. You are not laughing at him, you are laughing on him. At और on में पूरा दुनिया कायनात बदल जाती है. Right? When you laugh at someone, they will reciprocate. When you smile on someone, then obviously you can expect what you have given. Right? Your head position, try to keep it straight, as much straight as possible. You can adjust your devices according to your head, rather than adjusting your head according to your device. Right? Next is your proxemics, जो कि हमारे कोविड में ज्यादा जरूरी नहीं है. 4 तरीके की proxemics होती हैं. जो एक पर्सनल है, बहुत ज्यादा क्लोज है आप किसी के साथ. Next is your social distance, what kind of social distance you are maintaining. And now we all know, बच्चे बच्चे को पता है 2 गज की जरूरी है, दूरी है जरूरी. Right, that is your social distancing, जो कि हमारा social territory होता है. 4 तरीके के territory होते हैं. One is personal, other is social.
Your geographic and social.
How it differs. So उसके हिसाब से आप अपनी space language, what we call, how you define the relationship with the other person through the space you are maintaining, the distance you are maintaining from the other person, that is called proxemics. Proximity शब्द से बनी है. Kinesics is the next. How much of body movement you are doing when you are enter into your class, or you enter into वो 7 seconds की जो बात हुई थी ना, when you enter your interview room, your gait is very important. GAIT, your gait, how you enter, what kind of aura you carry, that will make all the difference. So that is your kinesics, how much you are moving your, how much you are moving your body parts. So this has come from the word kine. Kine is the unit of movement, right? Next is vocalics. Very important part, how you modulate your voice, because the same word will have different connotation the way you have modulated your voice. Example, I am sure that even though you don't come to from that generation, but शोले एक फिल्म है जो हर किसी ने देखा होगा, मैं ऐसा मानती हूँ. This is an assumption, let me assume that. उसमें एक डायलॉग था, कितने आदमी थे, right? So I ask that question, कितने आदमी थे, you will be fine. कितने आदमी थे, तो कितने जितना लंबा कितने है उतना ज्यादा डरावना साउंड कर रहा है. The word is same, it's just 3 words. कितने आदमी थे, कितने आदमी थे, तो जितना लंबा वो कितने गया है, the more impact it has created, right? So that is what is voice modulation. You have the words with you, but how you make those words sound to your listener will make all the difference. That is vocalics and your voice modulation. Next is your, let me recall.
Chromatic and chronomatic, as written in your book.
Yeah, you are right. Oh, you have been using my book, I suppose. You remember more than I remember.
I have been reading it almost like every 3rd or 4th day to refer.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Because oculesics part is very well written and the 7 components are very well written.
Yes, thank you so much. So when we talk of the chromatics, we are talking of the color language. What color you use when you are communicating? What kind of color will have the impact? Why don't you use, why doesn't the hospital use different color than green? Why is it called a green room? When the performers go and present, or the cricketers go and play, for relaxing they have green room. No, why not blue room? Because the green has the soothing power. Even the logos that the companies have, they have some meaning into it. Now, why Google is multicolor and why BMW is steely color? Why Tesla is steel T and why Google is multicolor? Think, give a thought to it, and you will get the reply of the communicative value of colors. It depends on the organization's culture, what it wants to communicate. Google wants to position itself as a very vibrant, very agile company, which is always reinventing, designing, innovation. And Tesla wants to position itself as a steely person who is very steely in its thought. Steely, because lots of problems that has come, it has overcome that. It's rock solid. So it wants to position itself. And you see the selection of color. It's a very interesting science. You keep on studying it and you will get you will get to understand the culture of the organization, right? Why you have this logo of a deep being lit, and then there is an orange, and then there is a yellow and orange color into it, because you want to say that it is very, knowledge is very pious for you, for you, and that can be seen in your culture. You are the student, you are the faculty, you know better, I am an outsider. But what I can see in your logo is that the piousness, the purity, the religiosity, the spirituality that you attach to what you are doing. You are not aggressive, you don't go aggressive, you are not after money, you are after the quality, and that is what is reflected in your logo. So you see and you will get it. I don't know, I'm an outsider, this is my interpretation, tell me if I am wrong.
You're absolutely right. That is why it is written Tamsorma Jyotirgamya.
That is the word, that is the word. But if this word was not there, if only this lighting of the lamp and this color would have come before me, I would have said the same thing, because this is what the color is speaking. Sometimes people just don't think, they feel that it is all the aesthetics. No, it is not aesthetics, aesthetics with meaning, right?
Right.
And last is the time language. Time language is something which is called chronomatics or chronemics. In some books it is mentioned chronemics, in some books it is mentioned chronomatics. Chrona is the word for time. So how different cultures react to time is something that is dealt into that. Now quickly, this is the last point that I am saying. Chronomatics can be, as per the chronomatics, the cultures can be of two types. One is monochronic culture and the other is polychronic culture. Polychronic culture is something that we Oriental culture come from, and monoclonic culture is something that the Western world come from. Now Hofstede, Greet Hofstede has defined it as the high context culture and the low context culture. पॉलीक्रॉनिक को उन्होंने बताया कि हाई कंटेक्स्ट कल्चर है, ठीक है, और मोनोक्रॉनिक को उन्होंने बताया लो कंटेक्स्ट कल्चर है, राइट? पॉलीक्रॉनिक जो लोग हैं उनके लिए वी मूव इन द साइक्लिक मूवमेंट. सो वी हैव 7 जन्मों के लिए शादी होती है, 7 जन्मों के लिए हमारे फेरे 7 जन्मों के लिए होते हैं. हमारा जन्म एक हमारा जन्म होते ही जाता है, and it is believed that we take birth one after the other. जो कर्म अभी किया है उसका परिणाम आपको next birth में मिलेगा. So what is this thought? What is this ideology all about? This speaks about the cyclic movement of time, and that is why we are little relaxed. अरे इस जन्म में नहीं हुआ, अगले जन्म में हो जाएगा, कोई बात नहीं, right? And monochronic culture, they move in a linear fashion. वो उनका एक ही लाइफ है, एक ही जीवन है, उनको या तो करना है या नहीं करना है. So this is what is the, and that can be reflected, that can be seen in their the way they do business also. Go to German. If you are dealing with the German clients, you see how strict and robust they are about their timing. You are dealing with your Chinese customers or clients, you see how their movement is, their orientation is different. So cyclic movement and the linear movement. And if you know the culture that your client is coming from, accordingly you can attune your communication. Last is the silence, the tolerance to silence and intolerance to silence. In the Oriental culture, which is South Asian culture, we are very tolerant to silence, because for us, silence is not absence of communication. For us, silence is a form of communication. हम ध्यान करते हैं, meditation करते हैं. What is that? We are not, are we cut off from the world? No. We are communicating to ourselves. So silence is a form of communication in our culture, and silence is a sans communication, minus communication in the Western culture. उससे भी काफी फर्क पड़ता है negotiation table पर. Especially when the Japanese and the Americans are on the negotiation table, The Japanese will take longer pauses. They will go for silence for longer time. And because silence is very much they are comfortable with. And the Americans would be very fidgety about it. वो nervous हो जाएंगे कि अच्छा this closes this deal we could not close. And what would happen is they would give out more and more discounts and offers, and Japanese, just by keeping quiet, they will get the best of the deals.
You've given it in the first case study of your first chapter in the book.
Yes, yes. So this is how the culture reflects the business, and culture is nothing but the way you communicate the societal norms. So this is what I wanted to share with you, and I would be open to questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So, ma'am, we have a lot of 3-4 questions in this, but before that, I would like to ask that our students are facing a lot of trouble when it comes to Oculus 6, and especially when they are on screen. What they have been doing during a GD, when they have a lot of these mini pins of other students, they are referring to all of them, because they have been taught like that whenever you are in a GD, you have to look to everyone. But the companies are assuming that students are reading from the screen. So this is one Oculus 6 trouble that we are having on the virtual mode. Is there any way out of it? I mean, a good way out of it?
The camera is your God. शंकर का तीसरा आंख. भगवान शंकर का तीसरे आंख की तरफ देखिए, and भोले बाबा कृपा करेंगे.
Yes, ma'am. अब यही students को बोलेंगे कि ये याद रखें अपने सारे interviews में.
बस I am looking at the camera.
Right.
I'm looking at the camera. There's a small hole. I am looking at it, and I think my eyes are getting right to you. Everyone is thinking that I am looking at them. You're getting it?
Absolutely, ma'am. I got it.
So this is a trick when you are communicating. And I'm coming up with a new book now, Professor Chopra. This is called Digital Body Language.
Okay, right.
Practice mantra for the virtual world.
Very well required nowadays.
Very much required. All the
Yes,
educational institutions, and especially the workplaces also, the recruiters are also troubled because misinterpretation बहुत ज़्यादा हो रही है.
Right.
And they are losing out some good candidates because of this. Fidgety eyes. जिसको वो fidgety eyes समझ रहे हैं, वो fidgety eyes नहीं है. What you are saying, it is not fidgety eyes. It is just that the person is trying to make eye contact with everyone in the virtual frame. Now you are not communicating with the person. You are communicating with the frame. So the frame का जो eye है ना, वो आपका तीसरा आंख है, उसी की तरफ देखना है. That is fine.
Right. And ma'am, now students have been asking that can they get a few tips on building the professional persona? Like you have been mentioning, the first 7 seconds are very, very important. So what are certain tips to build on the professional persona?
Yeah. Tell me. You are done with your question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So for professional persona, let me tell you that it will change from time to time. Personal branding में इसको पढ़ाते हैं हम लोग. इसमें 4 archetypes होते हैं. पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग के 4 आर्कीटाइप्स होते हैं. फर्स्ट आर्कीटाइप जो आपके लिए जरूरी है, दैट इज कॉल्ड कैरियरिस्ट. आप द पोजीशन दैट यू आर स्टैंडिंग फॉर अनदर 5 years, you would be in the archetype called careerist archetype. इनकी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक क्या होती है? They are very focused. They listen more. They listen 80% of the time and speak only 20% of the time. So they are the listeners. When you are listening, whether you are in the social media, now I'm giving you the how it can be applied both in the online and the offline. Now in the social media, don't be very hasty in responding to the likes or the love icons or the not like icons. What happens is your digital footprint will remain forever. Right? तो अभी आपको अपना अगर पर्सोना बिल्ड करना है तो सोशल मीडिया से शुरू करो, क्योंकि आप अभी टाइम भी सही है. सोशल मीडिया में there are lot many posts that you reshare, that you like, that you don't like, that you love, that you show anger to, that you show sadness about. ऑल द सोशल मीडिया, आप सभी के साथ यही है. ट्विटर पे जाइए, इंस्टा पे जाइए, लिंक्डइन पे जाइए, कहीं भी जाइए आपके पास है. गिव लिटिल मोर वेटेज टू योर लिंक्डइन प्रोफाइल. लिंक्डइन पे प्रोफाइल बनाइए, उसमें आप फोटोग्राफ डालिए और अपना बायो लिखिए, एंड देन ट्राई टू position yourself as a person who is keen to learn, because no one is looking for a person who knows everything. जैसे आप यहाँ से पढ़ के जाओगे, हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को अपने जरूरत के हिसाब से आपको टेलर करना पड़ेगा. They would be tailoring you, they would be training you. That is called the incubation training. किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में जैसे अमेजोन वगैरह में तो 3-3 महीने तक चलती है ये इंक्यूबेशन ट्रेनिंग, जो आपका इंडक्शन ट्रेनिंग, नॉट इंक्यूबेशन, आई एम सॉरी, इंडक्शन ट्रेनिंग. वो इंडक्ट करते हैं, अपने सिस्टम के हिसाब से आपको ट्रेन करते हैं. तो आपको आपकी लर्निंग एजिलिटी कितनी ज्यादा है उसको आप फोकस करो कैरियरिस्ट में. 5 साल के बाद शुरू से, अभी जो आप जॉब एस्पायरेंट हो, इस स्टेज से लेकर के अगले 5 साल तक यू वुड बी इन द आर्कीटाइप कॉल्ड कैरियरिस्ट, जिसमें कि वो आप सुनते ज्यादा हो, बोलते कम हो, एंड यू आर अ वर्कोहलिक. सिर्फ काम करते हो, पार्टी पॉलिटिक्स में नहीं जाते हो, यू डोंट हैव एनी से. और बहुत अच्छा पोजीशन है, बिकॉज यू कैन ऑलवेज से दिस इज व्हाट माय सीनियर्स हैव आस्क्ड मी टू डू, राइट. तो इस तरीके से ओनरशिप आपकी कम होती है, राइट. जब भी कुछ हो आप कह सकते हो कि आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की पॉलिसी ऐसी है, आपके सीनियर्स ऐसा चाहते हैं, योर बॉस वांट्स योर रिपोर्ट, द पर्सन यू आर रिपोर्टिंग टू वांट्स लाइक दैट. ओके. इसके बाद 5 साल के बाद से अगले 5 साल तक, मतलब 10 साल, अभी से 10 साल का जो समय होता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड आर्कीटाइप इज कॉल्ड क्यूरेटर. क्यूरेटर कहते हैं क्योंकि आपकी डोमेन नॉलेज तो यहाँ बहुत आपने होन कर लिया कैरियरिस्ट में, 5 साल में आपकी डोमेन होन हो गई. अब आप कैरियरिस्ट से जब आप क्यूरेटर में आते हो तो आपकी सोशल सर्कल नेटवर्किंग बहुत बढ़ जाती है. लेट मी एक्सप्लेन इट इन द हार्ड स्किल एंड द सॉफ्ट स्किल. इन द फर्स्ट स्टेज, कैरियरिस्ट स्टेज, योर हार्ड स्किल इज योर कोर. इन द क्यूरेटर लेवल, in the archetype called curator, your hard skill has topped up with your soft skill as well. इसका मतलब आपने एक सोशल सर्कल बना लिया है, कुछ लोग आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में आपको जानते हैं, कुछ लोग दूसरे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के आपको जानते हैं. प्रोफेसर आनंदी काम कर रही हैं, इनको इनके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का हर कोई जानता है. जब ये इन्होंने ज्वाइन किया होगा, अपने करियर के शुरुआत में होंगी, तो शी वुड हैव बीन फोकस्ड ओनली टू हर स्टडीज, ओनली टू हर नॉलेज, ओनली टू हर डोमेन. Right, by this time she has spent a good number of years, so now abhi kya hai, unka social circle बढ़ गया. That is how she came to know me, that is how she has come to know the other professors in the fraternity. So इन्होंने अपना circle बढ़ाया है, तो now she is in the at that stage she would be in the curator. अब यहाँ से जब वो बढ़ करके जाएंगी तो ये बन जाएंगी आपको expert level पे जाएंगी, so domain expert हो जाएंगी. So, अगर किसी को कुछ चाहिए होगा इनके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का, तो तुरंत उनसे बोलेगा, अरे प्रोफेसर चोपड़ा, शी नोज दैट, लेट अस आस्क हर. सो शी विल बी इनका क्या हो जाएगा, सॉफ्ट स्किल और हार्ड स्किल दोनों 50-50% हो जाएगा, है ना. मतलब एकदम बैलेंस हो जाएगी. जो शुरुआत इन्होंने क्यूरेटर में किया था वो एक्सपर्ट में जाकर के हो जाएगा ज्यादा. और लास्ट स्टेज होता है आपका थॉट लीडर. जब आप ऑथर बन जाते हो, जब आपको इंडस्ट्री जानने लगता है, आपकी इंडस्ट्री में आपका नाम हो जाता है, आपकी पहचान को लोग समझते हैं, लोग आपसे एडवाइस लेते हैं. नाउ यू आर नॉट ओनली योर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस पर्सन, नाउ यू आर द पर्सन ऑफ योर फ्रेटर्निटी. नंदन नीलेकानी, he started as a founder Infosys, grown. Now when he reached to the level of thought leader, he reached to the position of thought leader when he gave Aadhaar. So when he gave Aadhaar, he was the core team. Now everyone knows him, not as a person who had founded Infosys, but the person who has given Aadhaar. So आपकी growth जो है vertical as well as lateral होती है. So ये 4 types होते हैं: careerist, curator, expert, and thought leader. So thought leader is something that every careerist aspires for. अगर नहीं aspire करता तो उसे aspire करनी चाहिए. So this is how you build your persona.
Thank you, ma'am. Though we have a lot of questions, but considering that you're on fast and you have managed to be full of energy, zeal, enthusiasm, telling me so many things. And personally, I enjoyed every bit of the session, had my notes, and I will be referring to them forever. Priyanka, I would request you to give official vote of thanks to ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Indeed, thank you, ma'am, for such motivating words. This was indeed a very insightful session because I personally got to know many things like oculesic, kinesic, social distancing, and gestures, and the role of verbal and non-verbal, and the balance between them that needs to be maintained during an interview, or the 7 seconds role that plays a crucial role in an interview. Thank you for your gracious presence, ma'am. Your presence made this day for us. Thank you, and have a good day, ma'am.
Thank you.